Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking at the 10 hardest bosses in Genshin Impact. Have you fought any of these enemies and won? Are there any brutal bosses we missed? Let us know in the comments. Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Geo Hypostasis. Six hypostasis cubes have been added to the game, each representing a particular element within Genshin Impact. This Geo boss isn't necessarily the hardest to an experienced player, but it can certainly be annoying. You have to destroy the various pillars that pop up around the arena to damage it. It's also invulnerable whenever the yellow cubes orbit its body during specific attacks. Plus, it will heal itself at low health if you can't destroy the last three pillars fast enough. All this, coupled with some pretty dangerous attacks like Geo Pulse and Meteor Shower, and you'd better pray that you have some fast-moving characters in your party.
Swift and merciful!
Cryo Regisvine. The Whopper flowers can generally be a nuisance if you encounter them, but the Cryo Regisvine is the most troublesome if you meet it early in the game. It's perhaps one of the most aggressive Regisvine variants that will bring down some massive area of effect damage and debuffs if not dealt with quickly. The big problem is that this boss scales with your level, so you'll be fighting a more formidable enemy the more you level up. Your best bet is to try and break its cryo core, but even with that, you've got to be quick, or it'll come back to knock you out cold.
Dodge this!
Storm Terror Dvalin. When a boss has as many attack patterns as this guy, you know the developers are trying to make it a challenge. Dvalin is an Anemo elemental dragon that the players will encounter early in the game, which is what makes the weekly boss so hard. Players might not yet understand how to break his shield or how to attack the blood clot, which is corrupting him. On top of dealing out absolutely massive attacks, you'll also have to jump between platforms as he destroys the environment around you. So, while you can optimize your party for this fight, you still need to be careful around this Storm Terror dragon. Childe Tartaglia. While Childe might be a decently powerful playable character later in the game, his boss incarnation is 10 times that. He's a beat them once, comes back in another phase kind of boss, with various attack styles. His first phase starts with mostly hydro-ranged attacks, but adds quick melee electro attacks in phase 2.
Did you simply move faster? Or did you leak the information regarding your gold mastery on purpose?
You better watch out for the plunge, because it's devastating. Beat him down hard enough, and he'll enter the Foul Legacy state, becoming incredibly hard to pin down while mixing up his weaponry. This isn't a battle you can simply power your way through. Keep your finger on the dash button, or you will feel the wrath of the 11th Fatui Harbinger. Pyro Hypostasis. Yes, we already did feature a hypostasis on this list, but the Pyro iteration of the dreaded cubes is much more deadly than its Geo counterpart. You must be incredibly efficient at extinguishing its fire seeds and destroying its core to capitalize on its small punish windows. These tiny vulnerabilities were so unfair that the developers even had to make them longer in newer patches. If you time those attacks wrong, the Pyro Hypostasis will burn your HP away faster than you can switch to your dedicated healer. Never before have mystical shapes been so infuriating. Maguu Kenki. These humanoid swordsmen seem to kick ass and take names just fine for a malfunctioning machine. As you whittle away at this warrior's health, their attacks will become faster, deadlier, and imbued with different elements. Its ability to create a phantom self and auto-parry makes them challenging enough, but they also have plenty of invincibility frames. You've got to time your attacks just right, hit with every shot, and go hard when you can. Otherwise, the Maguu Kenki will simply wait for those energy bars to empty and slice you to pieces. Azdaha. When Zhongli, a vessel for one of the gods in Genshin Impact, decides to seal you away, you know that creature is lethal. Geo Vishaps are already a dangerous enemy in Liyue without encountering a primo version. But imagine facing off against the oldest and most powerful of them all.
Here! Worthless! Worthless!
This legendary elemental dragon has access to every element, typically tapping into 2 during a fight. He's also got resistance on all elements, most notable on geo and physical attacks. Regardless of who you choose, you're gonna have a hard time. But make sure you have a shielder on the team though, so you don't get one-shotted. Andreas. If you're daring enough to take on the Wolf of the North challenge, you better come prepared. As you're not facing off against a massive canine, you're battling the spirit of the Mondstadt god. Never standing still, this weekly boss deals severe damage with an enormous area of effect. Plus, he's also immune to both cryo and anemo damage, which rules out some of Genshin Impact's most powerful characters. The best way to start hunting him is to learn his attack patterns and attack from a distance, but even then, the Dominator of Wolves might still dominate your party in a fight. La Signora.
Then I will deign to share this last dance with you. Till death do us part!
The most powerful enemies always tend to have the most tragic origins. When the Cataclysm killed her lover, Rosalind was so consumed with anger that she transformed her body into living flames. As you slowly make your way through her progressively more lethal phases, the fair lady will switch from cryo to pyro, impairing the player with a massive area of effect debuffs and horrendously damaging attacks.
Immolation! A cherished agony. Do you feel it?
Your best bet is to neutralize her debuffs and punish quickly. While she does perish after her boss battle before riding Shogun's throne, you better stack your team right before facing her. The Crimson Witch of Embers will not burn out quickly. Rodea's Rage.
Or a fool who trespasses upon the waters of Chinza.
When a boss gives players so much hassle that it's encouraged on guides you fight with others, you know they must be stupidly powerful. What makes the Oceanid of Chinse so frustrating is that they don't fight you directly, instead using hydro clones that drag the battle on. It gets complicated if you didn't bring a ranged character and you can't reach her hawk mimics. While you can use cryo to immobilize these minions easily, her primary form is not to be underestimated. The best thing you can do is keep well back and avoid her attacks like the Plague, which is hard enough to do when they cover half of the arena. Rodea's Rage can certainly be rage-inducing. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, there's more where that came from.